My name is Benjamin Wittes. I'm a senior fellow in governance studies at the Brookings Institution, where one of the things I do is edit Lawfare, which is a website devoted to national security. I do it because there are an enormous number of complicated issues that involve the intersection of law, policy, and very difficult national security choices. Both Rosenstein and Sessions are in an unspeakably difficult position right now. The president is publicly ridiculing them, is making substantive demands on them as law enforcement officers that no self-respecting law enforcement officer could possibly comply with. Under normal circumstances, when a boss publicly puts you in a position like that, the only self-respecting thing to do is to resign, and in particular to resign in a fashion that makes clear the unacceptability of the behavior. And so there's, I think, a very good argument that both men should step down and make very strong statements as to the unacceptability of what the president is doing here. But there are also important countervailing factors in this situation, which is as long as Jeff Sessions and Rod Rosenstein remain in place, the Mueller investigation is protected. The president probably can't simply snap his fingers and make Mueller go away. And so they have a very important role in protecting the integrity of an ongoing investigation that affects the president's interests very personally. And for that reason, a lot of people at the Justice Department have really rallied behind them and feel it's very important that they stay in place. A lot of people feel that it's important that they not give in to this kind of bullying. The president clearly wants to get rid of them, and so staying is a kind of defiance that has value in and of itself. What I would say both men have an obligation to do more of than they've done is to speak up on behalf of law enforcement, because one of the problems with the way the president has behaved is that it describes law enforcement in a political and unacceptable fashion, that is, as merely an arm of presidential power rather than a vocation of the independent delivery of justice. And when the president talks that way and senior members of law enforcement do not push back publicly, they risk that infecting the way both law enforcement and the public thinks about the function. If Rosenstein and Sessions were forced from office, either because they found the conditions unacceptable and resigned, or because they were fired, there would be an immediate crisis with respect to the Russia investigation. And the question of whether the president would then be able, either by installing somebody or by his own action, to destroy that investigation would be immediate and acute. Congress can do a number of things to prevent that. The first, which certain members have already done, is to speak up very loudly about that as an unacceptable situation. Senator Grassley, who chairs the Judiciary Committee, has made clear that there will not be a confirmation hearing for another Attorney General. Senator Graham said very clearly that the firing of Mueller could mark the beginning of the end of the Trump presidency. So members are speaking out. But the second thing that members can do is follow through on that and make clear that the president cannot expect their support on any matters related to the interference with the Mueller investigation or the removal of the senior leadership of the Justice Department. This is not the way they behaved with respect to the firing of Jim Comey, where a lot of them said nothing or did very little, or in some cases actively supported it. It's fair to say that the fact that these interferences did not end with Comey seems to have wakened a few people up, and Congress's reaction to the possibility of a Sessions or Rosenstein or Mueller removal has been very different from the reaction to Comey's removal.